Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today I wanted to talk about fluoride. A lot of conspiracy theorists will say that fluoride is bad for you, and they attribute fluoride use in water to like so many ailments and stuff like that, like cancer and memory loss, and how can I say it? It's kind of like a drug that calms you down. It basically makes you, how can I say it, mentally lethargic in a way that if you weren't taking fluoride and you heard something outrageous, you would be all upset and angry. But if you've been on fluoride, drinking that for all your life, you'd be like, oh, okay, they killed my wife and then they raped her, alright, well, I hope justice is served, you know, instead of being like, you motherfuckers, like, you know, being like totally angry and stuff like that. So I thought I would finally take the time to look it up, because it's just something I've never really researched. I've just, you know, if you watch like the Alex Jones channel, and there's other channels out there that regurgitate basically what Alex Jones said, but I don't know how many of these people actually go out and they actually look at the information and try to back up that information that they're hearing. I think that happens a lot today. You know, like Obama will come out, he'll say something, and in the beginning people were like, they would just take his word for it. But now that he's been caught in so many lies and so many scandals now, especially with Obamacare, you know, he lied like 42 times, recorded on TV and audio. You know, you can keep your health care, you can keep your doctor, no ifs, ands, or buts, period. You know, that now everybody kind of double checks what he says, because with someone like that, you can't help, you got to, you know, you don't know when he's lying now or not. So is that a conspiracy theory? Is that a conspiracy theory to think Obama, a politician, is lying to you? No, that's not. That's just factual. You know, that's a fact. You know he's lying to you, and you can't trust anything he says, so you got to basically double check everything he says, which I've been doing ever since he's been president. I mean, I think 90% of what he says is a lie anyway. So anyway, let's get back to the fluoride thing. One thing I learned in college, like when you want to research a topic, you have two sources you can choose from. One's a scholarly source, and one's a popular source. A scholarly source is basically something that was done by experts. It was created by well-educated people that have backgrounds and degrees, and they use scientific study to come up with their information, or basically, how can I say it, anybody who's like basically an expert in their field, and who's written for scientific journals or written for important journals regarding any industry for that matter, they're basically considered a scholarly source. Now, a popular source is some blogger or vlogger, kind of like me, or any other blogger that you can find on the internet, that doesn't really have a scientific background or isn't an expert in a certain industry and such. So what I learned, what my professors told me in college, the information you always go with is the scholarly source. You don't, everyone else is just running their mouth, creating opinion, and blah blah blah. So here we go. I thought I would check into fluoride. One of the things conspiracy theorists will tell you is fluoride is just bad for you and such, and don't drink it. So I thought I would check with this study, because they've all been talking about this Harvard study. They call it a major medical Harvard study. So I found this study. They actually have it on the Harvard School of Public Health, which is actually a scholarly source. And what they did, they didn't do the study in America, they did the study in China. Now, are human beings any different in America than they are in China? No, we have the same bodies. We all have hearts, lungs, T cells, brains. You know, they're all human. Okay. Now this is a very long study, and I could go through this and read all this stuff, but I'm just going to summarize it for you. I'll put the link below so that you can take a look at the study and read it yourself. But basically, to summarize this study, fluoride in this study is what they're saying actually does lower your IQ, especially if you're a young child. It actually inhibits the IQ of young children, and it just seems like the longer you've been drinking it, the more of an effect it has on your IQ, almost to an extent of 7 IQ points, which is kind of big. You know, you're talking about someone who could have an IQ of 113 versus 120 IQ. I'm trying to see. I'm going to read like some paragraphs out of this study just to give you guys an idea like what they're talking about in here. These are actually PhDs and doctors that wrote this study. Fluoride seems to fit in with lead, mercury, and other poisons that cause chemical brain damage. Grandjean says the effect of each toxicant may seem small, but the combined damage on a population scale can be serious, especially because the brain power of the next generation is crucial to all of us. Let's see. Here's another paragraph. The average loss in IQ was reported as standardized weighted mean difference of 0.45, which would be approximately equivalent to 7 IQ points for commonly used IQ scores with a standard deviation of 15. So basically what you have there, you could be actually losing 7 to 15 IQ points. Some studies suggested that even slightly increased fluoride exposure could be toxic to the brain. This is from a scholarly source written by Harvard professors and doctors in that. So this is, it seems like what all the conspiracy theorists have been saying about your fluoride in your water kind of tends to be true. Now they'll say other things, that it causes cancer and that, but there's no studies linking fluoride to cancer that I could find. But I think that's a big one right there, if it's actually affecting your IQ and your mental development, especially as a child. Now granted, these tests were taken in China, you know, but as I look at it, you know, they're human beings just like us. It's going to have the same effect on them as it has on us. So I'll put the link below, read that. Now I'm going to go to a popular source, and this popular source is actually on a dentist's website. Now you'd think, oh, a dentist is like a doctor. Well, and he's, you know, he should know what he's talking about, but at the same time, it's a conflict of interest. Lots of dentists, you know, they preach the fluoride and everything like that. Now, I remember one time I had to take my mom to the hospital, and all she did was simply sprain her ankle, and the doctors were trying to push Oxycontin on her. So these doctors are basically, they're told to push these type of drugs on you when you apparently you don't even need them. I'm glad my mom didn't take it. She just took simple Tylenol. Oxycontin's pretty aggressive treatment for pain, you know, involving a sprained ankle. How many of you have taken Oxycontin for a sprained ankle? I know I never have. I've had like 7 sprained ankles. But this is his website for his dentist office. It's Dr. Johnny Johnson and Associates, pediatric dentist. And what he calls, he put an article on his website, Fluoride misstates, exaggerations, and blatant fabrications debunked by credible science. Now here's his article. And what he does, he goes through and he writes a quick paragraph debunking like all this stuff. And everything he's debunking, he puts a source saying where he got the information from, which is good, you know, but at the same token, I got to take it with a grain of salt, because he is a dentist trying to push fluoride. Now this is what you would consider a popular source. So from what my professors taught me at college, you always take the scholarly source information and you throw out the popular. You don't use the popular. And I'll put the link to his website below too, and then you could read both of them, and you can come up with your own analysis of what you think fluoride is and if it's good for you or bad for you. Me personally, from what I know and how I know how to do research, I have to go with the Harvard study. That's the scholarly source. This dentist, he did not partake in this study done by Harvard. He wasn't there crunching the numbers. He wasn't there performing the test and all that. He's basically just giving a second-hand opinion to why he thinks fluoride is good for you. And he basically just debunked everything I said in that study. So here he is, who's a physician who was trained, who went to school, and he's basically saying everything that the Harvard study that came out in 2012 is wrong. So who do you believe? Well, you have to go with the scholarly source. And but I'll put both links down below for both articles, and you guys can make up your own mind. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to make a donation. I think I'm going to make a couple other videos today and get them posted up. So alright guys, take care. Make sure to brush your teeth, I guess. Alright.